Welcome to Rick's Corner. As you know, I've been adding more female bodybuilders. I think there's a lot to be said for them, and I think they need to come out here and say what they want to talk about. And I know you guys like to listen to it, so I happen to have with me Rip Vixen. You can call her Rip. Rip, I'm glad you're here. We talked about this a couple of months ago, and she messaged me. She says, "Oh, you forgot about me." I didn't really forget about you. It's just that I've had a lineup, and you reminded me, and I had today free, and I thought, okay, let's do it.
That's all right. It's an honor to be here. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, so thank you for the opportunity.
I know that. Well, let's talk a little bit about the beginning. When did you start training, and what motivated you to do it?
Well, my dad was always a big bodybuilder. You know, I found out he was juicing when I was at a very young age, so... Yeah. I saw him grow, you know, I saw him train. When I was about 15, he would start taking me to the gym with him, and I would just kind of watch him, and he'd instruct me on some exercises. But I played sports my whole life, so when I added the lifting into the sports program, my strength increased, obviously, but my speed was a lot faster than most of my teammates on the field. Yeah. And then I went to college, played 2 NCAA sports there, field hockey and lacrosse. That's when my lifting really got serious, and I started to develop some muscle. And after I graduated, I missed competing. You know, I played sports since I was 4 years old, so I was like, what do I do now? And I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts, where Jay Cutler's from, so there's a lot of bodybuilders there. And, you know, I was working at the vitamin shop after I graduated, and a customer came in and said, you know, have you ever thought about doing a bodybuilding show? So she helped me out. I did my first novice bodybuilding show, and I took second place. So
that's really good. But your training back then, was it different than it is now? I mean, you were training naturally, we know that. But your routine as far as days per week and diet and all that, how was that?
I definitely say I was overtraining.
Don't we all?
The whole time. You know, especially being natural back then, your body just never recovers, but you think you have to get in there 6 days a week and you have to do cardio every day, and I never grew. And in being a female, it's so difficult to build muscle. Sure. You men are so blessed out there with all the natural testosterone you have in your body. It's twice as hard for us to even build a little bit of muscle in certain places.
Which brings me to this point. I've had women who want to train, they've talked to me about it, so I want to work out with weights, but I don't want to put on muscle. I said, you know what? You won't. Don't worry about it, you're not going to do it just because you lift a dumbbell.
You're absolutely right.
It takes a lot more than that.
I train people as well, and that's the biggest concern I meet with most of my female clients. And I say, don't worry, I'm not going to make you look like me. I'm going to give you exactly what you need, but we have to work on this together.
Absolutely. Your diet back in the day at that time, what was it like?
Clean as can be. You know, clean.
No junk days?
Never. No cheat days ever.
Did you feel that when you were eating like that and you were training as hard that you felt stringy all the time because you weren't getting enough calories or enough carbs?
No, you know, I still always felt like I wasn't lean enough. You know, as a woman, like I said, we are designed to hold on to fat in certain areas. So I never felt like I could get rid of those little fat pockets, you know, inner thighs, lower tummy, maybe, you know, a little on the low back. I just never felt hard enough and ripped enough because of my estrogen that I was just carrying around naturally.
Yeah. And so what do you think got rid of that?
Well, I competed for about 4 years in an all-natural federation called the INBF, and I didn't really get anywhere. I was competing against other women who looked like they were using as well. Then I stepped up and did my first NPC show in 2007 in Boston. I did the Jay Cutler Classic. Okay. And, I mean, these women were definitely on stuff. So sure. As I realized all of this, you know, and continued my journey, it wasn't until I actually moved here to California that I stepped on the NPC stage out here, and I was like, whoa, this is a whole nother ball game. Everybody was on something, and never mind, you know, the hormones, but then out here we have all the plastic surgery, all the enhancements, everything's enhanced out here. So I was in a whole nother league, you know, and it was difficult stepping onto that stage out here as well. So that was when I decided, you know, if I'm going to really do this, I'm going to get on some stuff and see what it does.
Well, let me explain to people, because you guys too, I mean, you get a lot of guys, I'm not ever going to take anything, I'm not ever going to take anything, and that's fine. You don't have to take something. You're not going to compete. Don't even worry about it. But when you get into a different league of competition, everybody is, you're the one that's not, you're not going to have a chance.
Exactly.
It's just not going to happen.
And I was one of those people that was...
Oh, by the way, I love when you touch me like that.
Totally against steroids. That was me. You know, I came from an all-natural federation where we got drug tested before every show, so it was something very important to me. But like I said, when I moved out here, you know, those values shifted a little bit because of what I was seeing around me. it's not a fair playing field. You know, shout out to A-Rod. I give him credit for what he's going through now, because everybody's on something. If you play a professional sport, you are taking some type of PED, which is performance enhancing drugs.
Absolutely.
I don't care who you are, what you want to believe, that's the honest truth. So it's a whole nother ball game once you step onto that stage.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you were introduced to the first time you ever took a shot of something, what was it?
Most women start with Anavar because there's 3 female-friendly hormones, as I like to call them, because they're not really drugs. So I started with Anavar, probably like most women do, because it's an oral tablet, so there really are no shots.
Right.
And I liked it, and so the second female-friendly injectable that I tried would be the Primobolan.
Right, Primobolan's good.
It is. Yeah. It's not bad. Competed on that for a while, and then I decided to take a step onto the dark side, as they call it, and then I got into the testosterone and all the other
which for us, testosterone is normal because our body produces it,
Absolutely.
That's exactly what happens.
This stuff is great, by the way. Let me tell you, it feels amazing when you're on it. I bet you're hardly ever sick. You have amazing energy all day long. And not only does your strength in the gym increase, but your muscle mass increases very rapidly.
I had somebody ask me today, they were talking about getting their wife pregnant, and they said they had to go off everything in order to do it. And a friend of mine, who we both know, and myself, both said, I had 3 kids when I was on a cycle.
Get out.
And it enhanced everything I had. It did nothing to do with stopping my wife at that time from getting pregnant, because it's creating more testosterone, which is increasing your sperm count and everything else. And so it worked.
That's true.
It had nothing to do with not having a baby. And a lot of people think that, they can't do that because their wife doesn't want them to. You know what? It worked for me.
No kidding.
So, all right. So now you stepped out and you took this, and you're going to have different side effects.
Absolutely.
And what were the major ones that you saw that you had that changed everything?
Major thing I struggled with my whole life, because it's genetic, was the acne. I had it coming from my dad's side and my mom's side.
Okay.
I've had it since I was very, very young. Obviously, puberty, it got worse. It's just something I never really took care of, and then I got on, and it got drastically worse. Then I started getting acne everywhere, all over my body. So that was the biggest struggle for me. Luckily now, thank God, I'm on Accutane, so it's taking care of that. And so for the first time, it is actually going away.
Yeah.
And it feels great, for the first time in my life. This is something I should have done 20 years ago. It's a great medication.
You went work years ago, tetracycline.
I was on every antibiotic you could possibly imagine, and when it's genetic, and there's nothing you can do to get rid of it.
I totally realize that. And I've never had broken out from anything I've ever taken. A lot of guys do.
Yeah, you're lucky.
I don't know if it's just the hormone thing or it's actually the oil going in your system that clogs the pores too.
Right.
Probably a combination of everything.
Right.
What else happened? What else did you see change?
Lots of hair growth. You're gonna, and even men, they're gonna get hair growth where they didn't before.
Do you shave your chest?
I have to shave pretty much everything if I don't wax it. I used to get waxed all the time. Being on the Accutane, you can't get waxed anymore. So I can't wait till this cycle is over. It's a 6 to 8 month process being on this Accutane. So I'm about halfway there.
Yeah, well, you look good.
It's working. Thank you.
There are certain things. I can take testosterone and nothing really changes on me.
That's good.
Women, their voice changes. Obviously, it happens.
And that's something we can't hide. You guys are so blessed, again, because you guys can hide it. I know physique guys who swear that they're natural, no steroids ever. Trust me, they're using stuff.
Yeah, because when you called me,
can get away
when
with
you called me, I said, hello, Jack, how you doing? No.
Trust me, people turn heads if I'm in a crowd. They don't expect to see me from this voice.
Right.
And I know that, but trust me, it's not that bad. There are lots of men out there that
you get used to it after a
love
while.
how I talk, how I look,
of course,
and what I do.
Of course, you get used to it after a while. It just goes with it. We're very used to being in bodybuilding. It's not a big deal at all.
Right.
Okay. Anavar and some of those don't do that.
Right, those were the female-friendly hormones I was talking about. Like I said, the voice change didn't start until I used test for the first time.
Okay.
And again, this brings me to why I think female bodybuilders are better at it than men. And I know it's popular and it's socially acceptable for men to be bodybuilders, and that's why they can get away with it and they can hide and they can lie to their parents, say, no, I'm not taking anything, no, I'm not on anything, and get away with it. I can't get away with that. As soon as I open my mouth, people make judgments. As soon as they see me, when they saw my skin, all of these judgments would come
You're
out.
opening yourself up to judgment right now.
And I'm ready, bring it.
and you're a wonderful person on top. Let me say, you're nice, a very nice person.
Thank you very much.
But this is what you chose to do, and it's okay.
Absolutely. This was all my choice. Nobody influenced me to do this. From a very young age, I knew I wanted to be a professional athlete of some sort. I didn't know what sport that was going to be at the time. Right. I played every single sport under the sun that was offered as a woman, but even growing up, you never saw women on TV playing sports or women getting paid to play sports. So it was something that was important to me, especially because on my father's side, he was a bodybuilder, his brother was a bodybuilder. And I don't mean they just worked out. I mean, they were yoked out bodybuilders. They were huge. I mean, you couldn't hide it then.
What does testosterone and all these drugs do to you sexually?
My sex drive increased like that. My sex drive went through the roof, even more so. I mean, I noticed a difference when I was taking the Anavar and the Primo, but then the testosterone was a whole nother ball game.
So these guys give it to their girlfriend, they're going to get laid a lot.
Exactly. even anything, like I said, even just the Anavar, a woman should notice an increase in their sex drive. And clients that I've had that have tried this stuff for the first time, they experience it too, so I'm not the only one. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship that's healthy with your own sex, whether it's you by yourself or you with your partner. It's healthy, and I think it's something that needs to be talked about, because there's really nothing wrong with masturbation or having sex with your partner, as long as it's safe, and you guys are both on the same page as far as the consequences of the act. But I think it should be done more often. I think people should be having more sex. I think people should be masturbating more often, because
well, if you're a fisherman and you bait fish, you're considered a masturbator on the end of the pier. Does it change anything physically on you, sexually?
I definitely had some growth in certain places.
Okay. And we know where that is.
Again, that has to do with the whole fetish.
Yeah.
It is a niche. I'm a female bodybuilder, and so there are many fans out there that are interested in a large clit, so
it happens.
It happens. The body is an amazing thing.
Now, when you go off, does it all revert back to normal?
When you're taking the female-friendly hormones, they will. You might notice a little change when you're taking the Anavar or the Primo, but then I noticed it went back to normal after that.
Okay. Now, all right. Now, we've gone through all that, and you're on the stuff, and this is what you do. Has your training and diet changed along with that?
Yes. I no longer eat clean because I don't have to on these hormones.
It burns it up.
I have so much muscle mass now that I can eat whatever I want.
Lucky you.
I often go to Sizzler and get a mega bacon burger.
Yeah.
I love to pick out on donuts on Sundays after church. So I eat whatever I want. I don't restrict myself anymore. I've been competing for 8 years, and so there was a lot of limitations in my life. And now I'm at a point where I've invested so much time and work into my body to build this muscle that I don't need to really watch what I eat anymore.
Okay. I've trained 50 years. Okay, maybe no, more than that. And I always watch my diet tight. When I first started competing, when I got into wrestling as well, I just wanted to keep my abs and stay ripped all the time.
Sure.
And I could do it pretty easily. And in the past 4 or 5 years, I began to eat desserts and have a little bread here and there. And because I want to enjoy myself, but you start to feel it. And I don't want it. I tried on a pair of pants yesterday, and I was like, okay, this is not going to work. I got to go back for a couple of weeks and just watch those carbs again.
Sure.
Because as you change every decade, your body changes. And no matter what you're taking, you can still, even all the cardio in the world will not burn that off.
Decade, every year your body's changing, and you should be learning that as well. With these hormones, with these supplements, you're going to learn a lot about your body and what each individual one does, and then you're going to figure out how to stack them with which one to get the desired look you're looking for.
Okay. What about precursors, things you can take, you can buy over the counter to help increase your testosterone? Do you think they work?
Did Arnold ever use creatine, glutamine?
Wasn't even around then.
Exactly. So
and there was no cardio then.
What you did back then still works today.
I think so too.
There's no secret out there. But let me also, defend myself a little in the sense where the steroids didn't do all the work, right? You still had to invest the work in the gym, the time on your diet, the rest, proper nutrition, hydration, all that stuff needs to be in place with the hormones, or else none of it works. Because I'm sure half the population at your gym is on something, but they don't know how to take it, or they don't know how to eat, or they don't know how to train.
And they think more is better, which isn't always the case.
Right. Or they maybe do like one vial of something and say, oh, it didn't work, and then that's it. And
you've got to give it time. And you don't
years,
and you don't want to overdo it. But it's a combination of training, your diet, your supplements, and sleep in the right combination so that everything works as a team. It's teamwork.
Right. So for all you natural freaks out there, the steroids didn't do all of this. I've been doing this. I've been lifting since I was 15. It's a full-time job. You know, you're 24/7. You're trying to get enough food in, trying to get those calories up, and that's why I eat junk sometimes. And don't get me wrong, when I say, you know, junk meals, a lot of it is clean. A lot of it is clean.
I'm sure it is.
Because if I eat crap, then I feel like crap.
Exactly.
So, you know, I find certain foods that I can make that are gluten-free, like pizzas. You can make that are fat-free. You just have to be a little creative when it comes to food shopping.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways around it. And when you say you eat junk, I'm sure you don't do it every day. You do it whenever there's a little feeling here that you want to have it.
Exactly.
But for the most part, you eat clean, you train right, and that's what it is. Because I know if I don't even like donuts, but if I have something a little bit different, a cake or something, it's okay, and then I feel, oh man, why did I eat that?
Exactly. And then you don't want to eat it again for probably another half a year or something.
Exactly.
So there's nothing wrong with cheat meals here and there.
Lastly, I want to talk about contests and how they've changed, because there's a lot of natural bodybuilders, and God bless you, stay natural if you want to. There's a market for that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of guys I see in the gym and women who train in fitness, and they look fantastic.
Yeah.
They're not big and ripped and all that, but they're ripped and lean, and I like that look. I think it looks pretty good. As I get older, I like it even more. So bodybuilding for women has kind of gone on the side, right?
It's crazy to see, like, the women that started competing in figure, say, you know, 10 years ago even. It's evolved so much, you know. I remember when bikini first became a division, you know, and the girls were really, really skinny, and then the figure girls were still pretty jacked, you know, and bodybuilders obviously were a little bit bigger. Now, you know, the bikini girls are looking a little more jacked like the figure girls used to look.
Yes, I noticed
now
that.
The figure girls are almost looking like bodybuilders, and they've come out with this new class physique that's supposed to replace bodybuilding, because I couldn't compete even if I wanted to today because there aren't any shows available in women's bodybuilding.
Right, I noticed that too.
So my sport is pretty much extinct, and I wouldn't doubt if men's is far behind.
Yeah, it could be. The world is changing all the time. So we're running out of time. I can't believe how long we've talked. Well, we can do a part 2.
I'd love to. I got lots to say.
But I want to ask you something. What are your plans now as far as bodybuilding and what you're doing with yourself? Because if it's going to drop out a little bit, you're still going to train like you do and do what you do, and it's part of your lifestyle, and it's my lifestyle as well. I mean, so even at my age, I'm never going to stop.
Right.
So where are you going to take it to what level?
Well, you're going to teach me how to wrestle out there, aren't you?
Oh, that's right. We're going to do that.
I actually thought about that little, you know, because my sport is a dying breed. So I was thinking, you know, what can I do to still kind of compete and keep this competitive edge that I've had my whole life? And, you know, I wouldn't mind getting into wrestling, but I doubt that I could at this age. You know, I feel a little old to start a whole new sport. I'm 30.
Okay, no, you're young still. The thing with wrestling, and I don't want to get off topic, but the thing is with wrestling, like anything else, like acting or Academy Awards or movies, it's a hard business, not only physically, but it's hard to make a name or make any money. You've got to do all these shows, for like bodybuilding shows. You got to do all the wrestling shows for free, independent. You might make $20. You might have to pay $20 and do it for years before you can even go to WWE and have them look at you. Then you got to have the it factor. You got to have the look, the charisma, and everything that goes with it. And when I got into it back in the 60s, I was the only bodybuilder, one of the few in wrestling, so I got in real quick.
Wow.
Today, everybody's got to build, you know, and there's just so much competition. And a handful at the top make the money, and the rest of them are starving, living in their cars. It's true. There's not much money to be made in bodybuilding either, as you know. You're investing a lot of your own money. Right. You know, so to kind of answer your last question, you know, I've won 3 bodybuilding championships. I've done a lot in my career. I'm at a place now where I just want to be healthy and look good for photo shoots and things like that. You know, I don't want to compete anymore. I think I'm done with that, but I've said that before. So who knows? Well, you find your level. You know, you find your level in life with what you want to do. Something might come along that hits you like this, and you can use your body and your look and all that and say, oh, I found something different. It's true. You could maybe even start your own talk show. Love to. You know, you never know where it's going to go, but I want to thank you for coming. Hey, thank you. It was a pleasure. It's been that's so hard. I'm old and I got to be gentle with me. Thank you guys for watching Rick's Corner. I hope you enjoy this with Britt Vixen. She's been awesome, and she has a lot to say, and she speaks the truth, and I speak the truth, and that's what we do on this show, Rick's Corner. Right. So stay tuned for more. We'll have more, and we'll have her back again, and thank you for watching so long. See ya. It's RickDrayson.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.